Well, good evening, folks. Jeffrey Daugherty, Christian Whistleblower. Very glad to have you here with us at the Gospel Truth Channel, the Jeff Daugherty Show. Always endeavoring to bring you some really good stuff, and I think we've got some really good stuff for you today. And I just want to share with you one of the craziest experiences that I've ever had in my life, and I just had it a few minutes ago. Well, it's probably been a couple hours ago now, but at any rate, it was the weirdest thing. And I'm not sure what happened. So I want to talk about it with 12 or 13,000 of my closest friends. I left the gym. It's a Batman shirt. I left the gym. Oh, shoot, I forgot to do the Periscope and everything. Anyway, I left the gym. And I've just started swimming. And if you've never swam for distance, don't let anyone tell you any different. It's very hard. Trust me, it's very, very hard. I'm basically sprinting in the pool, but this isn't a fitness show. And I blame Jay Campbell because he told me I had to do more cardio. So anyway, I came out of the gym. I'm going to the grocery store, Publix. That'll be relevant in a minute. I'm going to the Publix to get my one meal of the day, no carbs, one meal, swimming, weightlifting. You get the picture. So I'm pulling into the lane in the parking lot, and I look off to my right, and there's 3 empty parking spaces. So I go to pull into these 3 empty parking spaces. And fortunately for me, I'm not one of these guys that has to run, be super fast, and has to drive like a maniac. So I go to pull into the spots. And then all of a sudden I see this flicker. Like if you're on cable and, it flickers for a second. Like if you're on the internet and it flickers for a second. I'm pulling in on my right, 3 empty spaces. And I go to turn into one of the empty spaces. There's a flicker. And all of a sudden, all 3 of those spaces are filled with cars. So I'm like, "Rrr!" And I came fairly close, 8 feet, 6 feet, of bashing right into the back of a car. So I had a clear path, ladies and gentlemen. I was not on any substance. I was not drinking. I was not smoking. I wasn't mainlining. I wasn't snorting. None of that. I don't do any of that. I don't even drink alcohol. So I pull in, and I'm telling you, folks, those 3, I'm closing my eyes so I can see it in my mind. Those 3 spaces are empty. I go to turn in. There's a flicker, and boom, those 3 spaces are full. And it's one of the craziest things that I've ever seen in my life. And I'm asking myself, did I experience a Mandela effect? Did I experience a ripple in time? Did I experience a quantum overlap? And why did I, all of a sudden on today, March the 28th, Wednesday, at about 3:30 p.m., so it was almost 2 hours ago, why did I experience it today? Now, the first question is, and some people in the chat room are even asking this, did I experience a Mandela effect? Did I experience a Mandela effect? Well, I pondered it. I thought about it. And no, I say I did not experience a Mandela effect, and here's why. I don't think I saw a Mandela effect, because a Mandela effect would have been like if I pull into the grocery store and it's now a Winn-Dixie instead of a Publix. Now, if you don't live in Florida, that doesn't mean anything to you, but just think of the 2 grocery stores that are in your area and use them interchangeably. If I'd have pulled into this Publix grocery store parking lot and all of a sudden it's a Winn-Dixie, and I know it used to be a Publix, that would be a Mandela effect. So I don't believe that I experienced a Mandela effect. I don't think it meets the guidelines. I don't think it meets the criteria of doing a Mandela effect. Somebody said I'm missing time. I don't know about that either. We'll talk about it. But at any rate, I don't think it was a Mandela effect. Now, was it a ripple in time? This one seems a little bit more possible to me, that it could have been, something of maybe a ripple in time, meaning that I'm driving along, I go to pull into empty spaces, time ripples, and all of a sudden I'm either back in time 2, 5, 10, 15 minutes, or I'm forward in time 2, 5, 10, 15 minutes when those parking spots are now full. So I wavered in time. I quavered in time. I fluxed in time. Some of you think I'm all fluxed up anyway, but at any rate, it could have been a time ripple. I wasn't fasting I guess I was fasting. You're right. I was fasting. It could have been a time ripple. Could have been a time ripple. Because I'm telling you, they were empty and then they were full. Third possibility, was it an effect of quantum overlap? Was I, in that instant, viewing in or looking in or tapping into another quantum reality? Because, I believe science has pretty much conclusively proven, and I believe that it's been spiritually proven, at least to ask the rods. The rods aren't in here. That's a good point. I believe that it's been proven that there are quantum realities. There's other realities just like this, but they're on slightly different wavelengths. And for whatever reason, I must have fluxed between a couple of different realities there, or between a couple of different timelines. So it definitely wasn't a Mandela effect, but it might have been a quantum overlap. It might have been time jumping. Somebody says maybe you were abducted. Well, there was no lost time. It was the time didn't change at all. So if I was abducted, time stopped, and I don't remember anything about it. And I have my own personal feelings on abduction. We won't get into that. So what was it? Well, we'll probably never know. But the question, Sandra D'Angelo says, it sounds to her like I was in the middle of two timelines. Yeah, I think it was. I was right for some reason, I was on the overlap or on the cusp of two timelines or two quantum realities, which really might be one and the same thing when you think about it. But I was there between two realities, or at least looking into another reality, because remember, it flickered. Very interesting. But an even more interesting question is, if it was a quantum reality, if it was a time ripple, if it was a portal. Oh, here's a good one. Jenny Luna says, or was it the holographic world updating? Wow. Was it the holographic world updating? Let's go back and look at the comments. Let's look at the comments. Things are ramping up, it seems. A lot of people see orbs, a reality shift. Mandela effect is when multiple people see it. I would agree with that, Jenny. Timelines are merging. David Knoll says he's had similar events, that they're kind of nuts. Sherry says timelines mixing. Thomas says missing time. There wasn't any missing time. Were people getting out of the cars, or were the cars empty, as in no one around? The cars were empty. They were just sitting there. There were cars. There was nobody in them. A wave, a portal, quantum flux, ripple, quantum jitters, reality shift. It's dimensional because if you change anything, you'd wind up in another time. T.L. Clark, that's a good point. This reality is getting weird all the way around. You can feel the electricity in the air. There's a big energy download right now, says Rhonda. Something about Project Montauk where they tried to kill Jesus, found out he didn't exist. They could have just asked me. I could have told them that. Middle of two timelines. Holographic world updating. That's interesting. My friend Robert Stanley might lean towards that one. My daughter and myself, says Stormy Jackson, have had missing time all their lives. Reality slip, says April. Sandra D says holographic world glitch. Or maybe I was in touch with another Jeff, and in his reality, there were 3 spaces. My ex-boyfriend had a couple of experiences that time slowed down and saved his own life. That's interesting as well. And Dalton Gaming says, yeah. I think that's probably the best comment. So anyway, it was very, very, very weird. Very, very, it was just trippy, man. It is very, very trippy. And I don't really know quite what to think about it. But I think the important thing is to ask, why did I experience it? And, you know, this is something, Leslie just says something that time slowing down. It could have been that I was actually speeding up in time, that I got there before I was supposed to get there. But I think the interesting thing is, the fact that I did see it. And I think that as much as I hate to admit it, because it's not the most fun thing in the world to do, that when you begin to fast, you really do begin to have connection to higher dimensionalities. You do have connection to other realities. And I think that fasting is a very important spiritual discipline. I also think getting into better physical condition is a very big spiritual condition. Somebody says, what kind of fast? Well, I was doing a straight up fast. I always drink water, but now I'm doing intermittent fasting where I eat one meal between 4 and 5 p.m. and then I don't eat anything else. And I'm working out hard in the gym and I'm swimming as well. So that's what I'm doing. So it could have been a time skip, but I think the important thing is that it shows that as I get myself in better shape physically, as I get myself in better shape mentally, as I get myself in better shape spiritually, as I work on body, soul, and spirit, it opens me up to more. The other possibility, says Jenny Luna, is that I remote viewed the 3 open spots. Non-locality is not temporal, so when you arrived physically, the spaces were gone. But I mean, it was right. It was simultaneously. So anyway, it was very, very interesting. And I think that going to, to the, these are Rooney's toes. These are Rooney feet right here. These are the feet of the elusive Rooney creature, the Rooney genus right here. This is a good example of the feet of the Rooney genus right there. But it's like you open yourself up to more, you see more, You experience more. And it's interesting because I think the more open you get spiritually, the more mature you get spiritually, you are not as in as much of a hurry. Now, if I'd have been all about, oh, I got to get into the grocery store and get out of the grocery store, if I got to hurry, I might have run into the back of one of those cars. So ascending yourself, becoming a better, more well-rounded person is not just good for you in the woo-woo, it's good for you in the here and now as well. And I think that as we continue to do that, as we continue to get into some fasting, as we continue to get into some meditation, I've been meditating more than I have recently. And I thank Sandra D'Angelo and her channel, which is called Raw Reflections, Portal of Progression. You should check that out. And I did meditate more. In fact, I had just been meditating when I was trying to catch my breath and not throw up after doing all that swimming. So it's a challenge. It's well, Adam says that Muslims fast for 30 days. Remember, when they're doing that Ramadan fast, they're only fasting during daylight hours. So as soon as the sun goes down, they go to Pizza Hut. I don't know if Muslims go to Pizza Hut, but you know what I mean. So it's very interesting. What happened is important, but I think why it happened is even more important. And as we continue to figure out this matrix, as we continue to figure out the guy behind the curtain, I think that these type of experiences are going to become even more commonplace for us. I mean, when we're going out and we're talking to, he actually has not had his meetings yet, and we're talking to ghosts and we're having conversations with them, and I don't eat pizza. We're having conversations with them, with the rods and whatnot. And then we're getting in better condition physically, mentally, and spiritually. You can begin to see things change when you're meditating more and more. You also begin to see changes manifesting in your life. So it's very powerful. It's very interesting. I've had the feeling that we're about to step up another level with this work and with my own personal life, and I think with all of us as a corporate entity. So get ready for some fun times. Thank you, One Affected. I appreciate that very much. If you are here and you're not subscribed, I would really appreciate it if you do like One Affected and subscribe. If you're here and you think you're subscribed, please check, because somehow people have become unsubscribed unbeknownst to them. So there you go. Don't think it was a Mandela effect. Think that it may well have been a time slip, may well have been a quantum overlap. But I'm going to pat myself on the back. I'm going to catch myself doing something right and say, it's good that I am getting myself to a place where I'm more aware. And maybe it is seeing behind the matrix. Maybe it is seeing the programming of the matrix. Who knows? But I like it. I love it. I want some more of it, in the words of that great American philosopher, Tim McGraw. So there you go, ladies and gentlemen. I'll be back tonight with some more programming. And tomorrow night, of course, you've got the consequential rapscallions. That's Scotty Roberts and myself waxing philosophical, starting at 10 p.m. on the East Coast. The consequential rapscallions. Sunday morning, Not Your Normal Sunday show with Wayne Steiger. Monday, we're going to be talking with Michelle Thompson again. And next Tuesday, I have a show with Sandra D'Angelo. So we're looking forward to those. And then next weekend, not this week, but next weekend, on to the Fort Drum Crystal Mine, where we'll be doing some live broadcasting. And also Vero Beach Ghost Walk, Okeechobee Ghost Walk, and a tour of the, I think a tour of the shortwave radio station, as long as it's interesting enough. And I may be going to jail with Rex Bear. More on that later. So I'll just throw that out there and allow you to speculate and ruminate and marinate on that one. Well, I'm Jeffrey Daugherty, the Christian Whistleblower. You are the Gospel Truth Army. I salute you. He is Rooney Tooney, baby kitten. Should Rooney make an appearance? Do you want some meanies? Yeah? Well, wait a minute. You got to make an appearance first. Here he is, the man, the myth, the meaties. Rooney, do you want meaties? Do you want meaties? Are you hungry for meaties? Tell everyone that you want meaties. I will give you a whole can of meaties if you meow into that microphone right now. Do you want meaties? You a pushy kitten? You baby Rooney? He's thinking about it. Come on, man. Meow into that microphone. He's not going to do it. Okay, I'll give you some meaties. Go ahead and go out there. For a second, I thought he was going to do it. For a second, I thought he was going to do it. All right, ladies and gentlemen, it is my pleasure to be here with you. It's my honor that you're here with me. We'll be back later on this evening with some more broadcast excellence. So keep your mind open, keep your eyes open. Don't be in a hurry, and think about getting yourself in a better physical condition. Think about getting yourself into better spiritual condition. Think about starting a meditation practice. Think about starting a divination practice. I'm Jeffrey Daugherty, the Christian Whistleblower, and I hope that you will think about asking questions and questioning answers. You'll think about guiding your own spirit, mastering your own ascension, being your own guru, and above all else, that you will think about unindoctrinating yourself.